Last month in July 2026, my business did $102,000. And in this video, I'm going to show you what I actually took home. 9 months ago, I burned everything down. I let go of the team and I committed to building an AI-first coaching business. And I rebuilt everything from scratch with hopes of being more profitable and actually just to learn AI. And it has not been a straight line. I've actually uncovered a little bit of a pattern where we grow for 4 months, it drops, and then we grow again for 4 months. And last month, I could see the entire picture and had actual data. And the strategy and the system and the skills, they all synced up, and we had our best month since making the switch. And I have decided to document this whole thing. I'm going to play Skool's new MRR game, and I'm going to document from where I am now to 300K MRR, and I'm going to do it publicly. And I might fail, but I want to document this process. And so this is the first video in that series. At the start of every month, I'm going to do a recap, a video like this, a reconciliation, where it's like, here we are, here's where we're going, here's what worked, here's what didn't work, and here's what we're doing next. And if that sounds like something you want to follow along with, then go ahead and subscribe, and that way you won't miss these when they come out. And if you want even more behind the scenes stuff in a more day-to-day or week-to-week basis, and the stuff that won't make it into these videos, like the daily breakdowns and the numbers and experiments, then you can join our free Skool community, and I'll be sharing behind the scenes stuff in there. And as well, you get access to all of the courses that help me grow the business to where it is today, all totally for free. And so for this month, I want to break down 3 things. I want to break down the strategy, like how we're getting leads every day, customers every week, clients every month. I want to break down the system, how Skool became the entire funnel, why I don't use anything else. I have no funnels. And then the skills. And so what AI agents are actually doing. And also just talk about, we just shipped our Lifestyle Founder OS for our clients. It had some bugs. And I'll share a little bit about that. And at the end, I'm going to break down the actual financial numbers and show you where the money goes, because $102,000 a month sounds like a lot, and it gets likes, but it's not the full truth. And I'd rather be transparent and just share with you the actual truth. So one last thing before I flip the screen around and go through this document, which will also be in the free Skool community, is you might be interested to know that this Friday, I'm doing a live demo of the Lifestyle Founders operating system. It's in the Claude For Coaches community. Right now, it's $47 to join one time, and you can join us for the demo, but you also get access to specific workshops that help you implement AI into your coaching business. And I think that's it. So with that said, let's dive in. All right, so here's the document I'm going to go through. Again, if you want a copy of this, it's in the free community. But the plan for today I want to talk about is the model. I want to talk about some of the challenges that came up last month. Then I want to talk about the steps and stories around overcoming those, specifically around the strategy, the system, and the skills, a mindset shift that I am having, and then I'll break down the actual numbers. So with that said, let's dive right in right here. So this is interesting to me. I have 0 funnels, like no traditional funnels. I just simply have Skool communities. And I have a free Skool community with 13,000 people in here. And one of the reasons that I like the free Skool community is, one, the boosted traffic from Skool is awesome. So I'm getting about 30 or 40 people every day. I don't run ads to this. This is happening from Skool's own network. The other thing is all of my content can just be in one spot, right? So I can come in here and any lead magnet that I create, anything that I do, I just put in here. And this is kind of funny. On my About page, I just say, join the community, get free stuff. Okay, so very low action. Anytime I create a resource for Instagram or anything really, I just say it's in the community, right? Same with this document. If you want it, guess where it is? In the community. All right. And so that is my top of funnel. Middle of funnel is the Claude For Coaches. And this is a paid community. There is 1/10 of the members. There's 1,300 people in this community. And in here, this is where I run my workshops. and then those get put in here as resources. For this one, what I do for this one is, this is normal, but every week I typically have a new workshop. For example, this Friday coming up, I'm doing the Lifestyle Founder operating system. I'm doing the new releases and what we've updated, and so there's a live demo here. And this is my funnel, right? I do a new workshop. All I change is the picture here and the first line here. Everything else stays the same. So that is just like incredibly simple. Okay, and then third would be the bottom of the funnel, which is my main community. And this is a little VSL with some steps on how to apply. That's it. I have no other craziness, no other funnels. It's super clear. I can keep track of everyone. Yeah. So that's the model. Works real good. So now around like some of the challenges that came up from last month. So at the very start of last month, I went camping for a week, and it did take me about 2.5 weeks to catch up because for a couple of reasons. One, the AI system was automatically enrolling people. The AI agents made about $8,000 while I was away. I was unplugged, literally couldn't even plug into the internet if I wanted to. We were deep in the woods. The machine was working, which sounds good, but here's the thing about this model that I want to be clear on, is like when you're building fully with AI, there's still going to be things for you to do. And what I mean by that, or like in this model, I wanted to build it so that I'm just doing the things that I really enjoy and I love, which is like coaching and creating content. And everything else is handled either by executive assistant or AI agents. And I've gotten to that point, but if I'm unable to coach or create content, there is a gap. Like the business doesn't run without me. Like it kind of does, but in a limited capacity. And so just like recognizing that this model still has, like a dependency on me. And I'm okay with that because I actually want to coach and I actually want to create. All right. So I'm just like acknowledging the limitation in this model. All right. So second challenge that came up is we shipped the Lifestyle Founder operating system with our clients, and it had a bunch of bugs. We weren't set up properly to help people who had Windows computers. I'll keep my jokes to myself. But this actually, it solved a big problem. So this was a big challenge. But we needed to set up the Lifestyle Founder operating system in this way, because this now gives full access to all of our clients, and they can use their own Claude subscription instead of API tokens, which is getting quite expensive. And they can also connect their own documents, and just it's a better user experience now that we figured this out. All right. Challenge number 3 was the way that I was running workshops. And I'm going to share, the solutions here in a second, but the way that I was running workshops was starting to feel heavy, like every week coming up with the ideas, building the slides. And I found a new solution that worked just as well. So that was cool, but that was a challenge. It was starting to feel a little bit heavy. Taxes, that was a challenge from last month. Yeah, I don't know. If you're anything like me, I don't love taxes. And I actually have to, this is like reconciling a couple years since we came back from Mexico. So, man, this was a pain in the butt. But this was a challenge from last month. And again, like I'm just going to be fully transparent and just want to share exactly what's going on behind the scenes. So this is one big thing. And then the other challenge from last month is my ad started to fizzle. So I had one really good ad and it was crushing, but it was getting more and more expensive. And I figured out how to get that all the way back down. So about half the price. So these were the challenges. This is kind of what made up my, and then here's how we, reconciled them. So on the strategy side, there's 2 things: evolving the workshops. And basically, like I was saying, it was getting a little bit heavy. And so what I did was I decided I was just going to do like a live coaching call. I'd never done that before. I just had a document like this with some points and some ideas and some strategies that I could share that I thought would be helpful. But aside from that, no other real prep. It was, hey, show up on this time. And we actually ended up having about the same amount of people show up to the call, a little bit less. 40 people were on the call towards the end, and 4 people ended up enrolling. And that's been our benchmark, is about 10% of people join from the workshop, take the next step. And that was consistent, even though I totally changed the framework and format of the workshop. And it was a lot lighter, but the end result was still the same. So that felt like a big win. And as a result of that, I'm going to try something new this month, change the cadence a little bit. So I have one workshop that is speaking about the LFOS, like our platform and the system and the strategy. And this is something that is kind of the core workshop, and I will do this once a month. And then on the second week, I'll do a live Q&A. And then I have a VIP training for my VIP clients that I'll give access to for the Claude For Coaches community. That's been more so like the regular workshops. And then I'm thinking maybe like a client hot seat or an interview. And this will allow me to show up weekly for the community, but do it in a way where there's really only just one major training and still tons of value, maybe even more value this way. So that was one around the workshop that we fixed. And then fixing the ad costs, right? So had one really good ad, and all I did was I created about 15 different static images promoting the same Claude For Coaches community. And then I created 6 new videos. They're just with my phone. There's no special editing at all. And those 6 videos and all of the static images ended up driving cheaper cost per customer. My original ad started to perform way better. And I think it's because the algorithm had more content or more ads to work with, and it ended up finding new and better customers, purchasers. And now that it's back down to under $30 for a $47 purchase, which is amazing because it just lets me spend more money on ads and work significantly better than a free community. There's lots of caveats in there, but this was how I fixed it, was just adding more content, more ads, more variations. And then that ad actually performed better. So these were 2 kind of big fixes around the strategy, right? So the one evergreen, and then the workshops were feeling heavy. Okay, so that's how we kind of fixed that last month. And then for systems, this is really just talking about, actually, I'll do it this way. What I'm discovering is this, and it's a mindset thing for me. When I set out to start this, it was I wanted to do AI first, not necessarily AI only, all right? And now what's happening is we've gotten to a certain spot where by choosing to build AI first, it forced me to think in terms of systems, and it forced me to think in terms of like simplicity so that AI can actually run and do what I need it to do. But now, as we've gotten to this point, I can see that there would be a benefit in having a point person to manage AI in all of the different key areas. For example, even though AI is having the conversation in chat, dropping the offer document, and doing a lot of the sales part, if somebody was dedicated to the sales role, there's a lot of opportunity that I am missing. And if somebody was in that role specifically, we'd be able to generate a lot more sales. So like as that example, and maybe you could build it out with AI, but I think like having a human who's responsible for an outcome and uses AI to drive it, that's what I can see next. And that was really revealed with this right here, which was the system is working, but if I don't work, make less money. It would be nice if I didn't work and we made more money. So that becomes the next thinking. All right. And then in terms of the actual skills, and so I'll share with you what that looks like what does the actual agents look like? And so we shipped the LFOS, and like I said, it had a bunch of bugs. And the things that we did to fix it is we announced it was a beta, right? So everybody knew that there was probably going to be some bugs. We asked people to share, and they did. And then we were ready and waiting. We have Kevin, who's a software developer, and he was in there, chatting with the clients, fixing it, figuring out what was wrong. And this is big because now I was spending about $7,000 a month on API tokens, and now this puts it back into our clients' hands and it uses their own subscription. So this was a big fix. There was lots of bugs, but we figured it out. All right. So those were, that's kind of like the steps and stories. These are some of the ways that we overcame the challenges. I've had a mindset shift around AI first, but not AI only. I can see the need for team, so long as underneath it is it's an AI first build and they're just working the AI systems. And then we have the breakdown of how this financial breakdown actually looks. What does 102K in 1 month actually look like? But before I break down the actual math, I'm going to show you the actual console. And so this is the Lifestyle Founder operating system. And what's truly amazing about this is for the first time, maybe ever, I have a system that automatically tracks all of the key numbers. And when I say what are the key numbers, so this is all automated and filled out through AI and webhooks and connectors, but content, posts, comments, chat starts, campaign spend, free group joins, customers, applications, offers made, clients, MRR, cash collected, and revenue. This is all automatically tracked every day. And then these numbers come in, and I can't tell you the value of having clear numbers. I feel like it would be impossible to grow your business without this level of clarity. And I just see a lot of coaches and consultants who just don't even know what to focus on because they don't know what their numbers actually are. And so this has been a big project, really. And now to know that the numbers actually mean what they are, and I can see exactly what is working and what is not, right? So for example, down here, our cost per customer last month was $36 into a $47 product. So that is good. That's within the KPIs, right? A cost per application, have somebody fill out a form and inquire. That was $126 for one of those, which is okay. There's room to improve here. So now I'm looking how can I improve this, right? Cost per offer means they applied and a percentage of them made it through to an offer doc. And it costs $220 to get somebody to see an offer doc. And it costs almost $800 to acquire a new client in this particular model, which is good. So there's still areas to improve. And last month, what it looked like was $102,000 in sales, $74,000 in cash collected, added $15,000 in monthly recurring revenue. We spent $13,000 on ad spend. And then again, all of these numbers are underneath. 366 customers, 107 applications, 61 offers, 17 clients with no sales calls. All right, so this is our tracker. And then we have the agents. So we have onboarding agents. Then we have Quantum Dan. So if you need any help with creating emails, content, just strategizing through your business model, you can talk to Quantum Dan. And then we have the working agents, and these are the team. These are coming online in this month. I use all of these in my own sandboxed version, but this is what we have for all of our clients. And there's the executive assistant, the media buyer, social media manager, tech officer, and video editor. This video will be edited by this system. All right. And so that tracker, that LFOS platform is for this model. It connects perfectly, and you actually have real data. And sometimes, you know, when you hear like $102,000 in 30 days, you might be like, wow, that's crazy. But that's just one number. And I want to, this video and this channel, like I just want to bring a level of truth and transparency and document the process as I am growing. And one last thing before I share this was I did a post in this community, and it was this here, which is Skool has changed up their Skool games. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to play. I haven't really put a lot of focus into MRR, but I'm decided I'm going to play. And like I said, this is the first video in that series. And let's just do a check here. Go leaderboards. So we started at 14, and you know, a couple weeks later we're at 21, and the goal is, and I'm going to just document the process with my eyes set on this red diamond here. All right. And full disclosure, like how am I going to do this? It is going to be through our product, the LFOS, and our high ticket coaching program. Okay, so the breakdown, not exact number. These are rounded, but this is accurate. Okay, so 102,000 is contracted. That's what came in up here. That is what we sold, but then we only collected 74, right? So 74,000 cash collected. We also spent 13,000 in ads and change, right? There was 11,000 in compensation for executive assistant and tech support, 5,000-ish on software subscriptions and like some miscellaneous subscriptions, I'll call it, like Skool communities that I'm a part of, for example. I pay myself $15,000 a month. That's enough for us to live. And there's $30,000 in profit, which entirely is going to a big fat tax bill. Which means, what did I actually pay myself? We made $102,000, and I paid myself $15,000. All right, and that's great, and that's kind of my plan going forward, is to earn more but not increase what I pay myself, and just see how profitable we can build and grow this business to be. All right, so next step. If you have this document, you want to join our Claude For Coaches community. It's where I share workshops to help you implement AI into your business. And just to recap, you know, this is me documenting the journey of building a $300,000 a month Skool community with some humble beginnings, but some positive signs. All right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.